A way of life. Hope everybody's having a good weekend. Just wanted to come on here to do my career series, something I have been working on for quite some time now, and I'm really excited to get it out there. I have already done my North Node series, my Aries series, and I am now working on Taurus. What I'll be doing is careers for the sign Taurus, the planet that it rules. I'll be doing careers for um, the house that it sits in, and I'll be doing careers for the MC in Taurus. I'll talk a little bit about how this is going to play out with the energy that's coming up now, in relation to a lot of the transits that we're having now and how things are changing. And I will talk about some of um, the way the career field is changing because of it. Um, so, Taurus needs stability and security. Something they look for in jobs are financial security. They're reliable, honest, practical, and methodical. They have well thought out plans and work well with others. Some of the careers that come with Taurus are educationist, lawyer, nurse, public relations person. Um, Taurus is ruled by the second house. This house is related to family, food, money, possessions, speech, singing, voice work, and trades. Um, some of the careers that come with the second house are business, public speaking, buying and selling, restaurant work, singing, cooking, family business, um, teaching, finance, and farming. Um, because we have this really big energy of Taurus and Uranus for from 2018 to 2026, and Taurus is going through a huge transformation right now. A lot of these jobs having to do with Taurus and any jobs having to do with Uranus are going to be in high demand. Financing, because Taurus rules banking, and that's in Uranus. We're going, and I'll put the Taurus to Uranus video link at the bottom of this so you can hear that and see why this is so important. But a lot of the finance jobs, brick and mortars they're going to be non-existent at some point. Uranus rules digital. So we'll be going to a digital age and we'll be doing everything digitally. So we'll be doing a lot of working from home. So a lot of jobs that you can do from home are going to be, taking over jobs that you don't need to be in a that you need to be in a brick and mortar for. And then there'll be a creation of a new set of kind of jobs because we'll be going all digitally. Um, Finance happens to be one of those jobs, so if you don't know anything about computers, you might strongly think of taking a computer class. And that would enhance your ability to get work in the finance fields. Family business, entrepreneurship. I just did my video on Aries. Entrepreneurship is going to become huge. We will have to start making our own businesses. That might be with your family, or people that you call family, right? Not everybody has family that are worthy of being called family. Cooking is going to become extremely huge, but it's going to be very different than what you know. We could be doing all this digitally. Do I agree? Nope, not at all. But because of weather and this GMO stuff that's really messing up our lands, if we can't modify that stuff and, give back to the earth, we're not even going to be able to live off of the land. So digitally might be the only way to get us back to natural land to help us feed ourselves. So, you might want to consider taking up computer class. Cooking is your thing, but it'll enhance your ability to get a career. Sound crazy? Sure. That's just what it's going to be. Buying and selling, trades, right? Taurus rules trading. We will no longer trade the way we are used to doing it now. It will be digitally. And I talk again about this in my Taurus and Uranus video. And also, we'll be buying and selling farming, farm from farms directly. That in a way will revert back to the old way of doing things. We will barter from one another. So buying and selling as an entrepreneur is going to be extremely important. Maybe you might want to take a class on that. Public speaking. Um, I don't I don't know if it's really going to change public speaking at all, just because a brick and mortar doesn't exist or won't be as um, a big necessity, because then it'll just be digitally, right? Where a lot of people will just be speaking, as I am right now. Um, Restaurant work. Mm, yeah, I think, that could still be pretty popular. But if where it's really hard to say, right? And I don't want to like deviate anybody from thinking about this, right? You have to do what you feel is right for you, but it just because it's on a smaller scale, like Taurus is about um, doing things more practically. So if we're thinking brick and mortars are too expensive, we can't afford them, they're taking up a bunch of space. Um, how about, we do a truck or a stand, right? It's cheaper, it's more affordable. Um, just thinking that way. Because we're in the winter over here, it might be a little bit different for us experiencing this energy and how that plays out with restaurant work. But just keeping that in mind, you know, that could be another option, right? And that will also be very popular. Singing, I don't think that's ever going to go out of style. Um, Teaching, obviously, never going to go out of style. And farming, obviously, is going to become very huge. Some of the careers that come with Venus are architects. Yes, I do think architecture is going to grow in some kind of way. We'll have to be more creative with how we're doing things. People might want to build smaller, like, um, you know, what are those things that you use for botany, planting? What I'm talking about, those little houses. There'll be some really cool technology to go with that. Um, I feel like to architect there is some kind of computer component to taking that class anyways. Um, might want to consider it. Artists, creative jobs, musicians, political science, um, creative jobs, definitely. We will have to be very creative and innovative in this energy. Real estate, obviously, we'll be thinking about more practical living. So, not big houses with all this space that you don't need, right? Thinking back to brick and mortar, container homes or the small homes that they have on HGTV. They probably didn't change. The last time I've watched TV, honestly, was like 2015, but um, maybe even way longer than that, but whatever. Um, just some of those things that people were already talking about are going to become pretty popular and under this energy. We're going to want to condense, right? We're not going to want to be um, um, spending wastefully, with time, space, anything, when we're talking about Taurus. So, um, relational skills, designers. I talked about this in my Taurus and Uranus video where, makeup, aging, um, you know, spas, hair, clothing is going to change to like where you could get some clothing that changes colors according to your mood. Um, it's that field is going to change drastically, not just because we have Taurus and Uranus, but also I want to say about a month or so ago, Venus became visible after being retrograde for a good 4 months, probably longer than that. Um, Over the next 6 months, now that Venus is visible, she's like bursting out with all this new stuff that she learned while she was retrograde, right? So, you know, designers, those jobs are going to become very popular, and you might, again, want to add a computer component to it to keep your career. Um, Especially when we're talking about aging. What do they call that? I think it's aesthetics for working with aging, beauty in that kind of way, and spas. That might be more botany work. But a lot of these healing modalities are going to be all digitized, so you might want to consider just being hip to some computer sciences, education related jobs where you can teach this stuff, um, social sciences, um, finance, again, because it rules banking, healing. I talked about healing in my North and South Node videos, but again, that goes back to the healthy eating, farming, going back to natural ways of healing, holistic healing, where we're going to need to plant healthily, by the way, to heal properly, where we won't be using, hospitals anymore. Hospitals are brick and mortar. It takes up a lot of space. Um, Food for thought, you know. It's going to be something to think about, but I mean, the health field is already pretty healthy as far as needing work. I can't see that changing at all. It's just like changing, it's going to change in some kind of way, but I mean, like, not like, you're not going to lose a job over it, if anything, it's going to grow even more. Um, and some of the careers that come with the MC are banking, art, music, finance, and fashion. Um, I did talk a little bit about how these things can play out differently within your chart. Like if you're a Taurus, you might not be related to any of these. And some of the reasons is because there are 3 decans in every sign. So you could be a Aries, Taurus, Cusper and relate more to Aries jobs. You could be a Gemini, Taurus, Cusper and relate more to Gemini careers. You can have different degrees and placements that will play a really big role as to, why you, you don't relate so much to the Taurus jobs. there are so many different variables that play a role in why you might not like or relate to a specific job depending on what your sign is, your sun sign. Um, and that would really take you getting a reading to know more. But I did write down some notes here about creative expression for Taurus, which is drama. And not a lot of people are doing that, but that could be a form of, a way to go back to entertainment, performing. The performing arts might become really big or change in some kind of way, right? Because, you know, it's all gonna be digitized. No. I'm just saying, but at some point, electricity might not be a thing for a little while. We will run into some instability with that. I think California is experiencing that right now, or had experienced that, where they need like bigger generators or something. Again, I don't watch TV. I've read that story in passing, so I don't have the full story on it, but Uranus rules electricity. That is going to be a thing, so we'll go back to some form of, um, the arts for entertainment. Just saying. Um, and then I did put down, I will add the Taurus and Uranus video. And I also did a video on career and education that'll help you more understand the different options that you have. But just a quick little overview as a coach, these things are going to change for coaches, and we'll be challenged as well, as opposed to how we'll help people get jobs. And I just want to make it so clear that using your South Node skills and having the jobs and things that you've done, and being able to use those transferable skills. Taking a computer class is going to help you tremendously. You won't be able to fail. You know what I mean? To have an understanding of where this is going, where this new energy is taking us. So I hope this series was helpful. Peace.